What's up? Could you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, yeah. It just wasn't playing in my through my headphones, man. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on. What up? What up, everybody out there? We live. We live. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, man. Just a few technical difficulties. So, uh, thank you guys for being with us. How's everything going, bro?
Bro, everything's going good, man.
Yeah.
Going good, man. It's just, you know, uh, just trying to stay up on top of what's going on in the world and all that good stuff, and you know, where can I fit in and how to really approach a lot of conversations and um, topics.
hmm Yeah, man. Me too. I found myself doing the same thing, man. Just trying to stay abreast on a lot of topics, man, and you know, we talked about, me being on Twitter, being in a
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
space, man, and in certain conversations with people, and man, trying to make sure it's not consuming me, going out enjoying
yeah,
life, man, CDC changed the mask mandates, for people. I'm not playing them games though. Shoot,
me
you know.
neither.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm out here. I'm wearing a mask, man. I don't know. Everywhere I got both my shots, so wife got both the shots, so. But yeah, man. So at least we could be out and about, travel, doing that stuff, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah, man.
yeah,
Double safeguard.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, 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 for real. But let's go ahead and kick this off, man. So we talking about the media, man, and how I guess we start by saying or discussing, how people consume the media. So I think that people out here get confused. They think that that everything they see, just because somebody is standing behind a desk or standing behind a microphone, what I mean, it's information that's helpful to them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the things that people consume, they think that's news. It's just infotainment. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. So, me personally, I don't watch cable news. I haven't watched cable news in like a long time. You know what I'm saying? Mainly because, I want to be more informed, and, so I watch, independent news, so to speak, like Roland Martin or TYT, or, I'll tune in Tim Black sometimes, or, and I recently, the past few months, been watching Black News Channel. So, you know, um, because corporations that they're paid for. The corporations, man. That's what they're. These news channels that are on cable news. Um, you know, it's just about. It's just about collecting money. You know what I'm saying? So clicks.
Right, right,
But
right.
also like these newspapers. You know what I mean? It's just it's sensationalism. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, man. I don't know. Yeah, man. What about you, man? When it comes to
So,
news?
so me, man, we haven't had cable maybe 2.5 years, and at that point, first I'm gonna back up. So when I started getting into like politics and what was going on, and trying to be a little more informed, I was watching a lot of CSNBC, CNN, um, NBC, MSNBC, and sprinkles of Fox. You know, you can't drink,
And
you can't watch too much of that stuff, boy. Your
no,
brain will die.
yeah, turning to mush.
Yeah, yeah. But what one thing I started realizing that CNN was treading closer towards, um, I'll call it Foxism for a little bit of conversation. So it was more or less about ad buys and um, click clickbait kind of stuff and so forth. You wasn't really getting real information from CNN. And following up, MSNBC started doing the same thing. Um, so then I started realizing, like, yeah, like, man, I feel like I'm not really hearing what the information is. They giving me information to tell me how to think about it, but not how the information to be able to process it. So so I started seeking out different media and as well, man. You know, secular talk, you know, uh, Jamal, I can't remember his name. Uh, then Tim Black, Roland Martin, all of those guys that are giving context to information, and it was more educational because now I can take something and then I can do the research. Um, what I started noticing, when you looking at from news media on TV, and then you translate it to the newspapers, like Bloomberg News and all of those guys, you started realizing that they were getting the same sources. So again, you wasn't really getting information. It was more or less they were trying to feed you a little propaganda, from the clickbait. Not saying that all was not good news, but you just have to be careful.
Yeah, and I think that's key, man. Like when people are searching new, like, when people are consuming news, right? Because that's what we do, right? Our culture is a consumption culture, and I'm talking just American culture. America as a culture is consumption, right? It's part of the reason why people want people to get back to work. You know what I'm saying? With
Right.
these starvation wages. You know what I'm saying? Is because they can't consume a burger, you know what I'm saying? Because their favorite burger place
Mm-hmm.
is closed, you know what I mean? But it doesn't stop
Mm-hmm.
them from getting a burger, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but it's how we it's understanding what that that when you watch the news you have to pay attention to the information. What information are they telling you? Because a lot
Right.
of times making sure they're not trying to steer you, left or right. You know what I mean? And look, and
Mm-hmm.
there are times, look, I like listen to my leftist stuff, you know what I mean? And I can only take a little bit of right stuff, you know what I mean? But I still listen to it, you know. But I think when it comes down to it, a lot of people can get fooled into a lot of things, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or people don't listen, pay attention, because like you said, there's context, right? So
Right.
perfect example is there was context to the oil, the issue with the oil, right? There was
Right.
context to it, right? And the context was like, hey, look, there's this gas issue, they're getting it
Mm-hmm.
resolved. It'll be resolved by the end of the week, you know what I'm saying? But people
Mm-hmm.
took that as, oh no, there's going to be a gas shortage, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the people created a crisis for no reason, you know what I'm saying? And then created a crisis, created gas price increase and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't listen for the context, you know what I mean? But a lot of it was because of, as we found out in 2016, and just like with this oil thing, these hackers out here put out misinformation and disinformation, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So people
Mm-hmm.
put out misinformation about about what was going on, you know what I mean? And then, but what happens is people don't research. So somebody will tell somebody else, hey man, I heard that there was a gas leak, might want to get some gas. And then somebody's like, oh my god, all
Right.
the
Right.
gas stations are running out of gas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's how we consume news media and how we interpret news media. You know what I mean? Yeah, especially with the vaccine. We seen that with the vaccine as well.
So, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. Well, on both of those points, man, Fox News were the first what was the first news media to jump on the um, the reporting of the gas issue. But here again, people have to start thinking, why were they the first to jump on that? Was they trying to give real information about what was going on? Are they tying it to policy that can remedy the situation, or fix the situation? Um, which no one came away with, because what Fox News did was they blamed it on Joe Biden. Joe Biden don't own the gas company. He's not on the board. He doesn't work in the plant. He's not even a janitor. You know what I'm saying? And so many people started believing that this administration had something to do with the hacking. I was just on TikTok, and a young lady was like, "I'm a conspiracy theorist, and you cannot tell me nothing different, and I'm proud of it." And then she said, first it was the gas crisis, and next thing you know, it's going to be our electricity, and it's our government behind the whole thing. See, and right there, she got off the rails and never even realized that she's off the rails, because I guarantee something I started noticing, even the most progressive people are consuming a portion of right-wing media. And this is where it becomes dangerous, because nobody tied it back to the actual bill that's in the House right now that they're fighting over about infrastructure, that Republicans are trying to stop and moderates want to cut it. And this is where the media is starting to be dangerous, because if people had that context, like, hey, we have a bill right now, American people, that's up for a vote, and our issue is XYZ, but the good things that can come out of this bill, and they start laying it out. Because if they went through that years ago when they talked about an infrastructure bill, that situation with the gas would never even happen. Because this wasn't the first time that they tried to pass a bill dealing with gas infrastructure. But again, the lobbyists, they opted out. They didn't want to be regulated, XYZ and so forth. But again, American people don't know this stuff because of our news media.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, again, it's about information, right? And our media doesn't inform. And yeah, and like you said, it can be dangerous at times, man. Because our media is sensationalized, especially during the Trump years, right? During the Trump, man, you know, one of the things I didn't like, and I tried to steer away from myself, is that you know, when Trump sneezed, somebody had to report on it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to be the first report, you know, to report on it. And now that Trump's not in office, they don't know what to do with themselves. You know what I'm saying? But more importantly, they don't know what to. Like you're saying, they don't understand that we live in a time where the news media has to be responsible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Be responsible, because people now get tricked. They get tricked into believing anything because of social media. You know what I'm saying? Social media is a form of media. You know what I mean? YouTube. I mean, even what we're doing, you know what I'm saying? It is a form of media, and we have some sort of responsibility to make sure that what we're giving out is at least breadcrumbs, you know, factual information. Like you're saying, staying away from the conspiracy theories a little bit. You know what I mean? You know, and give facts, context to facts. You know what I'm saying? When we're having these conversations, but the the news media itself has to understand that we live in a microwave society, man. People
Mm-hmm.
consume their news how they live, you know what I mean? And because everybody's on the go 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 go, you know what I mean? If something comes across that little Facebook, you know what I mean, talking about, hey, you need to go get gas because there's a gas shortage, well, people are going to believe that. They're not going to go
Mm-hmm.
check CNN. We don't consume news like our grandparents and our parents did, which is sitting down reading the newspaper, or sitting down and watching evening news. You know what I mean? A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
still do. But by and large, a lot of us don't do that, and that's why a lot of people can get tricked, by things on social media. You know what I mean? And a lot of people jumped on, and that's why I agree with people say that Facebook and Twitter and all these social media things, they have some sort of responsibility. You know what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
make sure that there is no misinformation out there, man. Because like you're saying, man. I remember just in the beginning of the pandemic when they were putting out information, about black people can't die from COVID. You know what I'm saying? And then come
Yeah,
to
yeah,
find
yeah,
out,
yeah,
it was mainly black people dying from COVID.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm
Black
saying?
and brown.
Yeah, yeah, man. Because people just go on their Facebook. Nobody. They wasn't putting out factual information. You know what I mean? And then people latch on to these things like masks and all this other stuff, and vaccines, and things of that nature, So it's how we consume it, you know what I mean? We talking about algorithms and things of that nature,
Mm-hmm.
if the whatever device that you have in your hand, or however you use your device, whether it's a computer or a phone, and
Mm-hmm.
you search a certain type of thing, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, that
Mm-hmm.
algorithm is going to show you a certain type of thing. So if you're clicking on
Right.
things that say, 5G is going to make you sick, or whatever it was last year, 5G was giving people coronavirus. Well, guess what? That's all you're going to
Right.
see if that's all you're clicking on.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
And you got to use some sort of common sense and all this.
No, no, I agree. Actually, I think I said this before, where I was talking to a colleague of mine, and when that this information was right before it was starting to roll out, my comment to him was that this is going to be the most racist virus that you have seen. The virus is now going to be racist. So he was like, "Oh, well, what are you talking about?" I said, "Look, there's going to be disinformation that's going to target minorities." And he was just like, "Dude, like, man, you're tripping." Not even 2 months after I made that comment, that's when you started seeing it roll out, talking about black people can't die. And he was like, "Dude, how did you know that?" I said, "Because again, if you pay attention to the history of media, they always target the lower group with disinformation. They're not targeting, you know, rich and middle class because they were considered more educated or highly educated. So they were, quote unquote, made their mind up in a more educated manner. And you're starting to see that funnel is also starting to happen, where you're starting to see more educated people start to be funneled into that disinformation. Um, and we, you know, Fox News just went to court, right, for the whole disinformation about uh what's that software for the voting,
Oh, for the Dominion.
Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
So they settled out of court because they were going to do an investigation, and what they were going to find, which Fox News had to say in court. is that they knew that they were lying and that they are not news. Tucker Carlson in court, literally, they said his statement was, if anybody takes me seriously, then we should question basically their education, basically. And he was like, I don't expect people to take me seriously.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what he argued in court. And which then led the lawyers to say that their argument is that they are not news, they are entertainment. I think we lost them. And, you know, at the end of the day, if people hear that, at that point, that's when they should check out of that news station. Because they know for a fact that you're getting fake news, bad news, wrong information, misinformation, miseducated. Oh, I think we lost. I think we lost the host. Where you go? Where you go, man?
My bad. I had some difficulties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, you know,
No.
like I was saying, you know, if a news company or any information company argues that in court, you as a person should then check out of that consumption, because you know that you're getting bad information. That's not their intention.
Yeah. I want to share this real quick. Let me see. So you can get a sense of what we're talking about here when it comes to misinformation and the risk that it poses. Let me see here. All right, let me bring this on screen here. All right. So let me all right, old man, figure this out. Let me see here. All right. So this is so this is talking about coronavirus on social media, analyzing misinformation in Twitter conversations. And, this is a peer-reviewed article. Let me see. So usually how I go about my searches, I just type in a keyword, this is say like up here, I put misinformation, coronavirus. And then Google, I hate that Google does this now. They got all these ads. But here you can find, scholarly, information. That's one thing that Google does do good. And you can look up Google Scholar too. And Google Scholar will connect you with peer-reviewed articles. And when you're looking at, I just picked this one because I like the title. Titles bring you in. But I've skimmed through this one before. But usually, so you come down. So what I'll do is I go down here and I'll normally check out the references. That's what I do. Check out the references. And sometimes I'll, click on the references, down here to make sure that, what where they're getting the information from. Because a lot of people have shared things like from like PragerU or the Blaze, and you have to understand, when you're sharing, how some of these things are propaganda. They do data collection to purposely, tell a story, so to speak. So you gotta be careful in all of that.
Think tanks, man.
Yeah, think tanks.
They're called think tanks.
Yeah, and usually in these data, they'll tell you about right here who sponsored it, and you look at that. So this is Department of Community Science, so University of Southern California, USC, March 30th. So is this part right here. Um, Let me see. Oh no, where'd it go? Oh man, I was just looking at it. Oh, okay, yeah. This right here says the misinformation surrounding COVID-19 pandemic is especially damaging since any missteps can pose a serious public health risk by leading to exponential spread of the disease and accidental death due to self-medication. You know, and of course we had a lot of that going on, right? People, talking about they're just going to take. I just seen on Twitter a WNBA player talking about she didn't take her oils and berries or whatever. That's why she got COVID. And the rest of her, she was the only one who wasn't vaccinated on the team.
Yeah.
So
Or people injecting themselves with bleach.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
happened.
yeah. It really
That
happened.
really
Like people
happened.
taking hydrochloroquine and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. I remember in when the Japan nuclear thing happened. So when that happened, right? Again, people were putting out misinformation, right, out here in the
Mm-hmm.
social media spaces. You know what I'm saying? So there were people who were taking these iodine pills, right? And these things can kill you because you're not supposed to take them unless natural
Right.
nuclear attack happens. You know what I'm saying? There were people like taking these things and getting really sick,
Wow.
and they didn't have to take it. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be real careful about who's presenting the information and where you getting that information from, man. Because man, people out here killing you, man. And I didn't know this part. I must have missed it, but the because of all the misinformation, the World Health Organization launched a MythBuster page.
Hmm.
Yeah, as a result, it is extremely important to identify and potentially curb the spread of misinformation as close as possible to its point of origin. Excuse me. So yeah, and this just
Huh.
goes in and talking about Twitter conversations. You know how people will just have conversations. They won't go search anything outside the conversation, and they just
Mm-hmm.
get they just stay within the conversation and what somebody told them, basically. Well, so and so told me this, so it must be true. You know what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of misinformation spreads too. So again, yeah, we have some responsibility in what we consume. And
So,
how we consume it. Ask questions, man. Ask questions.
yeah, yeah,
Ask questions.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm
Because
glad you
go
pulled
ahead.
that up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I'm glad you pulled that up, man, because you know, they also came up with a man, I can't remember the name of it. Um, but it was like the 10 most infamous conspiracy theorists online. And Brother Reza, um, and you know, I got respect for Brother Reza. I never met him, but at the end of the day, you know, he's a wise young brother. Um, but he's caught up into the conspiracy thing now, you know. And I seen the switch happen years ago with where he will come and just talk to people and so forth, but something happened where he started kind of tapping into conspiracies, and then you started seeing the rise,
Mm-hmm.
and he has never let go of of that gas. And he
Mm-hmm.
and the brother's smart.
Yeah.
The brother's smart, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the end of the day, people got to understand, these brothers to Islam and so forth, so forth. They don't believe in vaccinations anyway.
Right.
That's not even part of their whole, way that they move.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and people aren't putting two and two together with people like that. Um, I think there was another black person. that was involved, and all the rest of them was, they were Caucasian white people. Color doesn't matter, but I'm just stating like how groups of people that even may get affected get caught up in the whirlwind of of misinformation or disinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and sometimes those two things aren't the same.
Right.
Sometimes disinformation isn't the same as
As
misinformation.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, let's.
And
Go ahead, John.
no, and these are things we have to start kind of tapping into, man. The whole holistic medicine thing, um, where people, you know, yeah, it's good to sit back and try to eat as healthy as possible or natural as possible. But if you're talking about a sickness, that's something different. And sometimes it may be something natural out there that can take care of it, but sometimes you may be you may be too sick for something natural to even help.
Right. And that's where people gotta make the distinction,
Yeah.
there. Yeah, but I wanna go and share. Let me see here. Share this. Let me see. Let me share this thing right here before we. All right. Let me share it on the screen, right? All right. So we talk about fake news, misinformation, and again, so let me point out something here. So when you
Hmm.
go up here and you researching something, .edu sites are good.
Hmm.
.gov sites are good. Um, edu, .gov, some .net, not all .nets are good. You know what I'm saying? Um, and some .orgs, you know, and
Hmm.
.org sites are good. So like pbs.org, education, a lot of, usually if I'm searching for some sort of information that the government has, I go straight to the government first. If you talk about information
Yeah.
from the government, go to a .gov site, you know what I'm saying, and,
Right.
and go there. But this is a edu site from some college, but it's talking about misinformation and disinformation. Yeah, and the definition. So misinformation, what you were talking about, is false information that is spread regardless of whether there is intent to mislead, right? So people just making stuff up, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And this is where people get into that, those conversations with people, right? And you only get part of the story, and somebody just tell you part of the story, you know what I'm saying? And then,
Right.
there's this thing on like YouTube where there's a line of people, right? And then this dude, he does this action, and when he does the action, he does it to the person in front of him, and they're supposed to turn around and then repeat the action. And by the time it gets to the end of the line, it's not even the same thing that the guy did. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we did that
Yeah.
in high school.
Yeah. But that's how
Yeah.
misinformation works, right? People
Right.
don't deliberately try to mislead, but things get caught up in communication. And
Hmm.
disinformation is deliberately misleading or biased information, manipulated narrative, facts, propaganda, right? So this is where
Hmm.
we get into talking. Where we're talking about Fox News is a they had primarily opinion based show, you know.
Yeah. Joe Foxworld too, as well.
Yeah, there
MSNBC.
there are
Yeah, Joe.
MSNBC
Hmm.
is primarily opinion based
Hmm.
and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to be knowledgeable. But let me get to this comment here. Let me see. The hard part is knowing who and when to trust. The government has flip flop. Scientists have flip flop. Medical professors flip flop. So it's hard to know. Yeah, and that's the problem, particularly in the black community. And that's why I said, a lot of times I understand. how there are people in the black community who are hesitant about going to the about medicine. You know what I'm saying? We know about the Tuskegee experiment. And again, the misinformation of the Tuskegee experiment that people get wrong is that the government, it's not that the government gave the men the syphilis, is that they didn't give them the cure for it. That was the issue. So people leave out that part. You know what I'm saying? Either way, it was wrong. But the government didn't give them the cure for it. And that was the issue, and other things, right? People hear stories of their grandparents saying that they had to go to a vet in order to get medical attention and things of that nature. And we come from a culture to where we had to do home remedies. I remember telling Shauna that I remember mom used to fix we used to have to take cod liver oil and ginger and all this other stuff during the winter times, because really my mom couldn't afford for us to go to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't afford for us to be sick. And more importantly, she couldn't afford to miss time. You know what I'm saying? And even if we did sick, we were dolo. We were home dolo. You know what I mean? By ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And this was when mom was working 2 jobs and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So I get it and understand, but it's 2021 and we have our hands on technology. We have it. We can get books, we can, pull up news articles and things of that nature. We just have to understand the complexities and all that, and the responsibilities that we have when we're consuming. You know what I'm saying? Entertainment and stuff. It's fun to be entertained, and we got to be entertained. But at the same time, when we are in a situation like we're in with the pandemic, and with a lot of these social issues that's going on, voting, being disrupted for African Americans, that's going to primarily target African Americans, and things of that nature. We have to be truthful about it. You know what I'm
saying? So to that comment, people also got to start understanding that science always changes. Science is not a thing that once it's said, it's at its final resting spot. And this is science. This is science, and this all comes from years of the slowing down the belief in science or the faith in science. Again, using misinformation, disinformation to distrust or make people distrust in science. And so whenever you hear Dr. Fauci today, he may say something, but next week, Dr. Fauci may say something different, because they may found new information in that time frame. It may take a month, it may take 6 months, but that information will change. And the point is that we all have to learn to take information in ebb and flows.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially about science, man, especially in this pandemic, man. You know what I mean? And again, there were news channels who were saying that, like, look, the reason the CDC keeps changing is because the science keeps changing. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning of the pandemic, and people don't remember, the reason they were telling you to wash your hands and you didn't have to wear a mask, because they thought that it transmitted through, surfaces and touching surfaces. And then they figured out, oh no, it's an airborne, when people are in a certain distance. So wear a mask, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So, science is always changing. And information just
had us walking around with gloves and all this stuff. I'm like, man, we gotta wear no gloves.
Hey, I was wearing gloves, man. Like, man, I was walking around the store with my hands in my pocket. I'm like, I usually grab stuff and touch it and look at it. I'm like, I'm just like looking at it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not touching nothing, man. Of course, it changed my posture, and it changed my posture, and shaking people's hand. Now it's just that, man. You know what I mean? That's it, man. But again, we The more important thing is that we have a responsibility to the culture, you know what I'm saying, to our culture, to our
Hmm.
community, man. Which again, I'm not gonna get into that, but I'll get into it. All right, but again, it's like these anti-mask people, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you just throwing a middle finger up to the whole community. You just out here, you don't care, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a group of people, man, who want to be oppressed so bad, you know what I'm saying? They want to feel what oppression
yeah,
is like, you know what I'm saying? So they just come up with, I'm not gonna wear a mask. Like, come on, man,
yeah, yeah,
you've been wearing that same dirty trucker hat for 20 years, dog, and you
yeah,
can't put on a mask, like, whatever. But but you know what I'm saying? Like, the media, clung on to people not wearing the mask, and they showed people not wearing the mask and all these things, you know what I'm saying, that it spread, you know what I'm saying, when it just should have been, hey, look, do these things to protect the community, you know what I'm saying, to protect people, you know what I mean. It's a health, issue, you know what I'm saying. You wouldn't drink dirty water, you know.
So, here again, how I started seeing the media play this out. The media gave those people more airway than you seen actual people just just obeying just protocol. And you know, for me, that's when you start seeing things be a little more contagious. When you give something life. We seen it in the Trump era. You say something, you give it more airway, it will start manifesting itself.
Mm.
And you started seeing media literally. Oh, I'm at this restaurant, and you know these people are anti-maskers, and we want to know why.
Yeah,
You know why?
you know why, like, why you know why, like, why are
You
we,
know why?
you know why, man. It's not, you know what I'm saying. It's just crazy, man. Again, it's the sensationalism, you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
why. And this is Tay's public service announcement, just like I gave a public service announcement that if you vote, change your party affiliation to independent or no party, no party association. But my feelings on news is that you you pay for, and I gotta practice what I preach, because I do have to do this, but I do subscribe, you know what I'm saying. But you gotta pay for and support, these independent news sources, legit independent news sources, you know what I'm saying. Because, you know what I mean, because you can't send me something that Tariq Nasheed said and then think I'm gonna take it serious, you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it on face value, you know what I'm saying. And that's just what it is, you know what I'm saying. So, we have to support these things. We have to support a lot of independent news, unplug from cable. The reason
Hmm.
why news is sensationalized is because people purchase cable, and because they purchase
Yeah.
cable, the news channels buy, or get paid with commercial time. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So those news channels are more beholden to their corporate sponsors than they are to giving you real information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even local news. Look, I'm all for it to be, again, part of this system that just needs to be torn down, because it doesn't function the way it's supposed to function. And that's good. And I get it. News is born, and that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? I want to be entertained when you're talking to me about sports, but if you're telling me
Right.
about,
Right. Right.
this pandemic, you know what I'm saying, then I just, let me just know about the pandemic, or let me know about voting rights, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature.
I think I'm a little weird, man. Now
Mm-hmm.
that you said that, I think I'm a little weird.
Why's that?
Uh, News is entertaining to me.
Mm.
It, I literally consume it every day,
Mm-hmm.
all day.
Yeah.
I go into work, and I'm listening to what's going on all day. Um, do I tap out, sometimes or whatever. It may be something that I want to research or whatever, and I'll listen to or whatever while I'm doing some work. But primarily, man, I'm sitting here like, wow, man, this is going on. Wow,
Hmm.
man, I can't even believe, like, people are either believing this issue, or, man, why people not really hearing about this? Like, it really fascinates me at that point.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, you do got to tap
Yeah,
out though.
yeah.
You got to take a break, man. You got to take a break from it and not let it take over. You know what I'm saying? And that's me too. I got to do the same thing too. I gotta, I'll go down these rabbit holes, and I'm like, all right, man, I need to take a break. Of doing all this. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to news, yeah, man, I don't watch CNN, I don't watch Fox News, I don't watch MSNBC. I do like The View. I watch The View. So I do like, except for Meghan McCain. I can't stand Meghan McCain.
Lord have mercy. The view.
She's a trust fund baby who has no talent, and she thinks that she has an opinion. You know what I mean? And she's always ghost when it comes to issues surrounding black people and other minority groups. It's because she don't want to talk about it. And I wish somebody would bring up the fact that her dad didn't want to celebrate Martin Luther King Day in Arizona. And again,
Do you know who my
Public
dad
Enemy.
is?
Yeah, I know. Like every time, man. And I just every time she want to come on, but I be thinking like, if I'm a guest, man, I would want to walk into Public Enemy, man. Can't wait till I get to Arizona. You know what I'm saying? That song was about
Well,
her. That song was about her dad.
oh wow.
Yeah. Public Enemy, man. One of my
Okay.
favorite songs, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
But
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 huh?
no, I was going to say, man, the View is another place
Hmm.
that they like a broken clock, man.
Hmm.
They write twice.
But again, I
That's
don't consume it as to be like, I consume it to listen to Sunny. I like Sunny. You know what I mean? And I like when I'm missing Anna Navarro comes on. You know what I'm saying? And I like Joy's her take on things, because she's just a normal take. You know what I'm saying? I don't
mhm.
I don't watch it to be like, oh man, let me go get some information from them. It's just
Yeah,
like, oh, let me go be entertained, right? I watch The View like, oh, let me go be entertained. You know what I'm saying? They aren't. Again, I think that Whoopi missed some things, but I think she's just trying to be a host. She's not trying to be, in that sphere. But I don't think that. But again, that's just me. I like The View. But
uh,
yeah,
you
man.
know, the View was rated one of the top political shows.
Yeah, yeah. But that,
So,
but again, that's because people consume it. It's a daytime show. It's a daytime
well, they
show,
talk about politics every day.
and they talk about politics. That was the point of The View. That's why Barbara Walter created The View, because she wanted women to be on the fore. Because a lot of the shows at the time when she created it were just men driven. So she wanted a show with just women, showing women talking about politics, and that's what it was. In between there, it became a talk show type of deal between there, and over the years. But now it's mostly political. It's mostly
Yeah, yeah,
political.
yeah.
Now it's mostly political. But again, if I want to hear straight politics, I'll go to TYT. I'll go to David Pacman. I'll
Yeah, yeah.
turn on I'll go to BNC, which I'm about to mention here in a little bit. But I'll turn on BNC. You know what I'm saying? I'll hit my Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And consume that. You know what I'm saying? If I want just politics, you know what I'm saying? Roland Martin. I'll watch Roland Martin. And speaking of Roland Martin got to get a lot of heat from people, man. But
Hmm.
again, I think people watch Roland Martin wrong. They pay attention to Roland Martin and his antics, but it's the guests that come on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
there's a William Spriggs. He's a black economist that people need to follow. You know what I'm saying? When Trump was talking about the HBCU, his
Mhm.
HBCU thing, a veto-proof bill that he supported. Roland Martin brought on the HBCU president. Was like, no, that's not what it is. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He had doctors on, and a few doctors that I follow on Twitter and things of that nature. So
Mm-hmm.
it's about to get. And of course my favorite person on there is Dr. David Carr. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, Africana Carr. And I follow Carr. You know what I'm saying? But I think people gave Roland a bad rap after the Dr. Umar um, uh, uh, debacle that happened the first interview.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to agree because I don't want to say I'm a Dr. Umar fan, but
Hmm.
I support his baseline, like whatever his vision truly is about success. Period.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now the rhetoric, I'm not into the whole rhetoric thing. Um, the whole sensationalism and all of that. I'm not into that. But he just wants to see our community within ourselves be successful and educate ourselves.
Hmm.
Now, how Roland Martin went about it, that right there was probably the crux of our issues, where you see someone that that's trying to do something for our community, and you go and attack that person. But people also did the same thing to Roland,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, if you pay attention to Roland, we talked about this before. Roland did a great switch.
Hmm. Hmm.
He started seeing what everybody was kind of communicating to him,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
you know frustrated with him about, because he was becoming a little mainstream thought process, and a gatekeeper.
Yeah, because he was on CNN and all these other
Yes.
other things, and that's how he did it. Yeah, and I think that moving, uh, moving away from that, what I mean, did open him up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But again, it opened him, and we talked about this, and I said, like Roland Martin is the blueprint, and the blueprint being that within black community, as far as black news goes, what I'm saying, Roland Martin is the blueprint, and that there should be in every state there should be a Roland Martin. You know what I'm saying? So that
Yeah.
people can get the news local, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you can understand what's going on in your area and what affects you. A lot of times, I think that we have this idea of California politics. A lot of politics that come out of California. You know what I'm saying, and it just spreads across the country. The middle of the country politics. That's what Fox News mostly talk about. And it just becomes saturated, and people don't care. It's like how we were talking about the defund the police message. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't play everywhere, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
Yeah.
don't play. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you think is important in real liberal California is probably not as important in a little more not as liberal area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that,
Huntsville, Alabama.
yeah, yeah, man. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that when it comes to black news, is that we need to start pushing that. You know what I mean? Like, supporting, saying, "Hey, man, we need more people to be out here." You know what I mean? That's going to get on platforms, either create a platform yourself. You know what I mean, or get on YouTube or something, and create your platform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
I
I'll
totally
be right
agree,
back.
man.
I'll be right back real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, leaving it up to me, man.
No, I'm saying, yeah, yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, so no, no, man. I really agree, man. Because
So,
we look at the media space for black information, um, and it's hard to find us. It's hard to find a message that we can recognize. We look at our communities and we like, man, I never experienced that before. But the face that's telling you is on white media, but it's a black person. Um, but we have to understand that he's operating in a space that's also not familiar with his growing up or understanding. And it just becomes, a person trying to get a paycheck. That's what it becomes after a while when you operate in those spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I wish, that there was some kind of lobbying group
Mm-hmm.
for black media.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you're talking about one of the poorest groups in America,
Mm-hmm.
trying to have a lobbying group where you don't even have enough money from the constituents.
And that's what Roland talked about, man. How there needs to
Yeah.
be, more, money flowing into, to support black media. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because it doesn't get supported. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. There's this. Let me see. Black News Channel. You heard of it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So let me share. Let me see. Can I share my screen? Oh yeah, yeah. It's alright. It's still sharing. So let me do this. Let me go to. So Black News Channel. So this is so Black News Channel. So this is supported by oh, what happened? Did it switch? Alright, did it switch? Oh, that's why. Man, I'm telling you, technology, man. I gotta figure this stuff out. Let me see here. All right, all right, all right. Bear with the old man here. All right, all right. There we go. All right, there we go. I don't know if you can see, but on the right side here, these are everything that I subscribe to on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Majority Report. Let's see here what I got here. Seth Meyers, Crash Course. I don't do Jimmy Dore. You know.
Now Jimmy Dore, Jimmy Dore, man. So, Jimmy Dore, I like Jimmy Dore for his comedic takes. Now within the comedic takes, his base point be on point, but he goes off the rails as he goes deeper into the point. And that's where Jimmy Dore gets, he's a little dangerous at that point. Yeah, he's a little dangerous at that point. And you start to feel like you're not really gaining the proper information to digest and dissect.
Yeah, man. You know, Jimmy Dore is where I would put in the infotainment, category. That's what he is. So if you want to be entertained, you go watch Jimmy Dore. He'll do all the cursing and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? It's just not needed. But he does it so that people can come back, keep clicking back. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I like the way, I like his antics and, it's all this other crazy stuff, that he does. But like you're saying, the information gets lost into, the information gets lost into his antics. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, I mean, he says stuff, but a lot of times it's coming from, it's in bad faith, it's in bad faith. and
Oh yeah, yeah.
it doesn't get you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I don't.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
that's why I don't subscribe to Jimmy Dore. I don't.
when I started digging and started understanding, that he was a Republican for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
then it clicked because he's doing the very thing that I like to say. I don't know if nobody else agree, but I like to say the same thing that Elizabeth Warren showed us in the last election with the Bernie Sanders. Um, they grift a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They grift to certain issues that are a little more right wing or right in tactic. And that's what I started noticing about Jimmy Dore, and I was just like, okay, now I know why you do that.
Yeah, I knew that a few years ago. I don't even. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't even. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Know what the game is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's like, it's like watching Candace Owens on the other side, man. You know what I mean? Just
yeah,
people
yeah.
that give up there and do all these things, right? She'll get up
Mm-hmm.
there, and this the tactic for the people on the right, right? People like Candace Owens that'll get up there and they'll be completely bald faced wrong, but the whole point is to be loud, to be boisterous, and to take up time. So in a 20-minute interview, their tactic is to take up 15 minutes of the interview. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Even if that means speaking over a person. You know what I'm saying? So then they're not. You're just being entertained at that point. You know what I'm saying? So then, just so her followers can be like, "Oh yeah, she owned this person or owned that person." You're like,
Right, right, right.
"Okay, yeah, but what did she say? What was the context behind behind the information?" You know what I'm saying? And so I want to get on and talk about just about speaking about news in a black space. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Being because I think that is important going forward, particularly in these times where we're having voter suppression, where of course we're still in a pandemic. You know what I mean? And we still need to get people vaccinated and things of that nature. Of course, we're going to talk about Black Lives Matter and the things that are going on with them. Um, but one of these things that show up in a just a regular conversation again that gets out there, and it's a fault. People will talk about black on black crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say that, man. Yeah, man. But that requires context, right? You can't say that talk about black on black crime and then you know and leave it at that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is the root cause? What's the context of it? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
But let me get into Black News. So, Black News Channel. So this is a channel that was started by the Jaguars owner. I can't remember his name. Something Khan, and a Republican. A brother that's a Republican. So they started this news channel, and is a news channel that just gives information, talks to the community. Because I think a lot of times within the black community, we get reduced to just only caring about crime for some reason, and only
Mm-hmm.
caring about these certain small issues. You know what I'm saying? We're actually we're culturally diverse. You know what I'm saying? Just in our thinking. So, I watch this is just some of the news stories and things of that nature. And again, it's about to me it's about the guest more than it is about the host. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm watching like Mark Hill, you know what I mean? Mark Hill talking to Vernon Jones, Straight Handkerchief,
Mm-hmm.
that talking about critical race theory there. And then they had a conversation with Lisa Simpson. She was the I forget whose mom she was, but she was talking about Black Lives Matter. And then they talked about he talked with one of the founders of Black Lives Matter. So you know,
Yeah, but I'll check it out. But right now, man, after you know, I'm on the fence with that guy, man,
with who?
with the Jaguar owner.
Why?
Um, well, you know, he's willing to try out Tebow.
Oh,
And of course, the question came up that, well, why don't you try out Kaepernick?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he came up with some old cockamamie excuse um, on why, and basically, Tebow will unite the locker room, and um, Kaepernick will divide it, or some stuff. And here again, man, for me,
It's about
here
money.
again, yes, it's about money, but it's also white supremacist narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And but I get it, because he's playing the money game.
Yeah, I think that's really what it's more about, man. Although, like, I don't like the optics of it, I really don't. But I think that is more. There's two things involved. A, you just hired a coach who is very famous still in that part of Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
B, you bring in Tebow, who is still very famous in that part of Florida, right? You
Mm-hmm.
just went through a pandemic to where you didn't bring money into the stadium. So you bring in, oh man, yeah, you bringing in Tebow, you're gonna bring buzz to a team that's not gonna be very good, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the other aspect of that is saying that is that Tebow and I'm losing the name of the coach, but they're good friends. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
other
yeah.
aspect, and that's why people are really upset about it. Yeah, man. At this point, me personally, I think the boat sail on Colin Kaepernick. It sucks. And we just need to call a thing a thing. You know what I'm saying? And at this point,
Well, that means
people.
that we need to call the thing on Tebow the thing too. We can't do that.
No,
Like
no, no. I'm just saying. I'm
that.
just saying that there are other factors. Like, I'm not saying that that's
Yeah.
not one of the factors, right? That
Mm-hmm.
that is
Mm-hmm.
something that most definitely we need to look at, right?
Yep.
We need to look at. But and the other factor is, look, you just bought it. You just got a number one draft pick. You want him to be the face of the franchise. You want people talking about him. Bring Kaepernick
Mm-hmm.
in, people are just going to talk about Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying? Now, the,
Right, right, right.
the pros and cons of that. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. You know what I'm saying? Again, yeah. The thing that we need to call it is another, white mediocre, male who is getting a
Mm-hmm.
shot. You know what I mean? That's
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing we gonna call it. You know what I'm saying? Now, is there intent behind it? Was that the intent? I don't believe necessarily that was the intent. But it is a reaction. It is something about it. But and they talked about it on the Black News Channel. It hadn't populated yet, but yeah, man. But yeah, I still check it out. I think it's
Yeah, yeah.
again, I check it out for the guests that come on. Again, so that I can make sure I'm consuming the right news, man. You know what I'm saying, or right information, man. Because, like, yeah, these people get you out here, man. You know.
Yeah, yeah. No, no,
Yeah,
man, I totally agree. But no, I'm definitely gonna put that one in my archives.
yeah, yeah.
Um, because I just listen to information anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, when I'm at work and I'm moving around and
Mm-hmm.
doing some things, I need to hear something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not the person, I ain't Samboing it at work. I ain't there to
Yeah, yeah,
dance.
yeah.
So I ain't gotta hear music for 8 hours out of a day. That ain't me. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I'm sitting here trying to educate, trying to find, what can I get into? I don't care if it's real estate, investing. Man, I
Mm-hmm.
listen to economists. I listen to all kind of people.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
I just ain't listen to no backdoor you know, no jigaboo, or whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing none of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
man. Like, I don't want to listen to people. Like, people will be like, get you. Hey, man, you should listen to Candace on. No, man, no, 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 no. I'm just not going to do
Yeah,
that, man. I'm
yeah.
not going to listen to somebody who
Mm-mm.
supports white supremacy and support white nationalism, man. I just ain't
Yeah.
going to do that, man.
No.
I'm just not going to do that, man. I'm sorry. And
Yeah.
anybody that does, you know what I mean, they need to be rightfully called out, man. You know, I forget
Yeah.
somebody said this when Candace Owens was coming up, and people are like, "Nah, just ignore her, just ignore her." You know what I mean? And they were like, "No, you can't ignore her. You have to understand what's going on right now." You know what I'm saying? She's a
Mm-hmm.
blackface wearing blackface, and people are paying
Mm-hmm.
her, you know, to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know, within this news space, man, you know what I'm saying? And as news, you know what I'm saying? So much so
Yeah.
that they invited her to a hearing on reparations last year, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. I remember.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
got up there and blabbered some nonsense. And again, the whole game was just to, you know, blabber some nonsense. It's like Herschel Walker, you know what I mean? Blabber some
Mm-hmm.
nonsense, you know what I mean? It's like Tim Scott, you know what I'm saying? Get up there and
Mm-hmm.
say America's not racist, and then, you know what I mean? And then here you are in South Carolina last Monday, and you celebrating Confederate Memorial Day or whatever it was. You know what
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Wow.
then, yeah, now they're about to pass another, they're trying to pass another bill to build a monument or something for Africans. They call them African Americans, but they were not Americans yet until the 14th
Mm-hmm.
Amendment was passed. They were
Mm-hmm.
still considered Africans. But the Africans for, that were part of the Confederate Army for a few weeks.
Oh. Oh, because
They trying to build a monument saying that, you know, because it's all part of this lost cause myth that they put out there. You know what I mean? To say
oh,
that,
you talking about the ones that was in the Confederate Army through
yeah, yeah,
threat of
they got,
life.
yeah, threat of life. They didn't give them a gun. I think
Yeah.
they gave like one group a gun or something. Or, you know, they trained them, but they didn't give them guns because they didn't want the guns be turned back on them. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah, yeah. But again, they want to put that myth out there. You know what I'm saying? So,
Are they going to tell the story that when some of those African Americans at that point in time, or Africans got to some of the Union camps that they never returned.
yeah, nah, they ain't gonna tell that. Nah,
Yeah, I bet
they
they're not
gonna,
going to tell that story.
yeah,
Yeah.
nah. You know, they gonna put it out there, man. You know, they gonna trot out Tim Scott. You know, to say that, you know, hey, we gotta pass this because you know, these Africans, they were happy. You know, they were happy in their condition. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Because
Yeah,
he's happy in his condition.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
God, man. God, man. You
But
know.
again, but you saw how the news paraded around that story, right? You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
oh, well, Tim Scott says America's not racist. Tim Scott, there are black kids going to schools named after Jefferson Davis,
Mm-hmm.
named after who's the other one? Robert E. Lee. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tennessee is about to celebrate Nathan Bedford Forrest Day or whatever it is. They're about to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate in
Mm-hmm.
June or July. You know what I'm saying? Nathan Bedford Forrest is the founder of the KKK.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Scott,
Mm-hmm.
what America do you live in, man?
Yeah. Let's not just rest this on Tim Scott. Because Kamala Harris the next day made the same statement. America is not racist.
Yeah, look, yeah, all of them. Like, look,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just attacking Tim Scott, Kamala Harris,
No, I know what you're saying.
and Joe Biden. You know what I mean? They said the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. You know what I'm saying? But I understand it more from, not that I understand it, but I understand it more from Kamala and Biden's perspective. But I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because you just come out and call a thing a thing. No, stop
Mm-hmm.
looking at 2024. You know what I'm saying? You know, but also I understand why Tim Scott said it. You know what I'm saying? Because he's
Mm-hmm.
looking at 2024 also. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
both of them.
Both of them are looking
Yeah,
at
playing
2024. All
politics.
of them are playing politics, man. Playing
Mm-hmm.
politics and trying to get, you know what I mean, trying to so-called unite. But you're not going to unite the country by making up stuff, man. That's just not what it's going to be. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no.
Call a thing a thing.
Look.
Look, Texas is about to pass a they're about to pass another Crown Act. Well, how is America not racist? And you got
Wow.
to we have to pass laws because California, I think, was the first to pass a Crown Act. You know what I mean? Protecting people from being discriminated against because of their hair, the natural hair.
So
What?
even though the
It's
Supreme
ridiculous.
Court ruled on that, Supreme Court already ruled on
Yeah,
it,
but
and they're created again.
well, they're doing another Crown Act in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So even though the Supreme Court ruled on it, that doesn't mean that the states can't act independently. You know what I mean? So the states can act independently. So it doesn't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the Supreme Court ruled on the Crown Act for California.
Mm-hmm.
So now Texas is about to
Mm.
pass another Crown Act, which protects people, mostly African Americans, from being fired or not hired because of their hair. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Because
Because
we
they
know
I got
there's a lot of.
locks,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and you know, I just seen Ricky Smiley about 2 weeks ago. Um, so sadly, Ricky Smiley's nephew, who he adopted, committed suicide. Um, and his his mother was devastated once she found out what may have played a part into the suicide. And that was only because he was days prior he went into depression because he talked to Ricky Smiley about a job, which he was having a hard time finding a job at this point in time. And Ricky Smiley said, "Cut your hair." And he's like, "Why do I gotta cut my hair?" And Ricky Smiley said, "Well, if you want to be accepted by society, you have to cut your hair." Well, that triggered him. Apparently, or allegedly, that triggered him, and he committed suicide. And Ricky Smiley said that he don't feel responsible. But again, it's this thing with some of us that we don't realize how we parrot the same oppression that was given to us
Within our culture. And that's what I was going to say.
within our culture.
Like I can, not that I forgive Ricky Smiley, man, but because Ricky Smiley from an era, man, he's a certain age,
Hmm. Hmm.
and he was just probably he was giving him advice from his own experience, right? And his own
Right.
experience coming up says, "Hey, man, in order to assimilate, African American women, you gotta put these chemicals in your hair, make your hair straight.
Hmm.
To get a
Hmm.
job, if you're gonna be a man, African American male, you have to wear your hair low cut because if you wear any, size or afro or anything like that, um, any size or anything like that, then you can't get hired." Hold on, let me get to this comment. Let me see here. Correction. Let me see. If the Supreme Court ruled, then it's the law of the land for all states. States can only make the law more strict, not redesign it or lessen the effect of the law that the USCC has ruled. States can't do what they want after the High Court has ruled. Yes, but I have to look into that, what John was saying when he said the Supreme Court, because there is different circuits in the Supreme Court. So there isn't just one Supreme Court. There is one Supreme Court, and then you have Supreme Courts underneath that
So this,
govern certain areas of America. So
so
before
this,
laws
this was
get
not the lower
to
court.
this, all right, let me look it up real quick. So
Yeah,
what? Then this was the Crown Act.
the Crown Act.
Hold on, let me see. Let me see. Let me see here. Hold on. I'm about to. Oh, let me go ahead and share my Go ahead and share my thing so I can see y'all can see what I'm doing here.
All right. All right.
Chrome tab. Share. Let's see here.
Yeah, because if I don't see what you're doing, man, I might fall into a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let me see. So this is from 2019. This is Vox. California's about to ban discrimination against black workers with natural hairstyles.
so what did you type in Google search?
So what I typed in was just the main thing. So the main thing what I want to know. I want to know Crown Act and whether the Supreme Court made a decision on it. So of course these are a bunch of ads. So I don't Google. You got to skip through all this crap because it's a bunch of crap.
Easy way to do it.
I think the JD Supra is. I know I can go on the Supreme Court website and to see. It says here the Southern District of Alabama dismissed the claim, stating the hairstyle is not an immutable characteristic protected by Title 8 because it can be changed. So the district courts are
the lower courts.
The lower courts, right? Before it gets to the Supreme Court. Let's go to Crown. Let's go to the original source, crownact.com.
So maybe it didn't make it to higher court.
Yeah, I don't think it went to a higher court. And that wouldn't stop California from creating a law. The Crown Act is law in California. But what Terry was saying is correct, though. If the Supreme Court says it, then it is law of the land for all 50 states. But you also have district courts, and the district courts split up America. I think there's four districts before it goes to the Supreme Court, and then under those districts there are other courts before it gets to the district
about
court.
The Ninth Circuit.
Yeah, there's plenty. There's a bunch of different circuits. Yeah. So the Crown Act is just legislation that's getting passed in the different. So appreciate that, Terry, for correcting me, because I did misstate that. So I appreciate that. Yes, the military has their own rule and how to wear hair. They just changed it. They just changed it to. I know in the Army they can wear locks. And they took out a lot of bigoted language in the military, but anyway, so y'all just saw how I generally search stuff. I don't put in anything else. If I'm looking for something specific, I just put in that in the Google search, in the Googles, because again, the algorithm. So if I was to put find the Crown Act for Supreme Court or something like that, it'll show me a whole bunch of other stuff. But as you see in Google, I don't know if I stopped sharing my screen here, but I did. Let me see.
Yeah.
Oops. Dang
Stop
it.
share.
Dang it. Okay. But anyway, so if I go on, my Googles here, and then, let me do it again. All right, so if I go on here, make sure, no, anyway, I could do it here. So if I go into my Googles here, I just put exactly what I'm looking for in here in the Google search, And a lot of times, what you can do to find exactly what you're looking for, you put quotations around it, and it'll only bring up
Mm.
what you're looking for.
Oh, that was new to me.
Yeah, yeah. So you take that out and you just put that in there, and then you're getting the same stuff, and then it'll just bring up, exactly what you're looking for. And Google has been good about ensuring that it only pull up credible sites first, but you can search through the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4 and all that jazz, you know, and find all that information. Again, it keeps you from, again, here's a .org website. So if I see .org, .edu, .net, I'll explore it. But again, these .org sites, these are good sites to follow. Generally, rule of thumb.
So there was a Crown Act that was introduced to Congress in the 116th. The 116th Congress for 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So that is on the agenda. That it was introduced September.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess they did the 117, so it was introduced this year too.
Oh, okay.
So they're just trying to make it a federal law, so that way the states don't have to take it up. That's what they're doing.
Man, that's wild.
So, and again, this is congress.gov, and then you go to .gov site. So on congress.gov, you can go here and find out the legislation for the year. And each new Congress is a new year. So 117th next year to be 118th Congress. So,
I remember when I first grew my locks, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but
I lost my job, and man, I'm talking about every job I was on, they would just turn me down back in good old boy Delaware.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, like why? Like, man, I'm thinking I'm knocking the interview out the park. They telling me they like me and this and that, didn't get the job. I cut my hair, and the first interview I went on was actually for the company I work for now.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up
really?
getting the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like I'm saying, a lot of this stuff, man, it doesn't make the news. You know what I'm saying? Again, the Crown Act is something that should be in the news and people talking about, because it does affect people.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up, man.
All right.
So I hope everybody learned something. Especially about how to navigate information, how to navigate news. Again, disconnect from cable news. Don't watch it, because it's just sensationalism. That's all it is. That's all they want you to come back for, is just to just so you can be hypnotized by a commercial that's going to tell you to buy some product. That's it. If you pay for if you support an independent news source, you can then tell them what you want to see, what you want to hear. You know what I mean? That's why you can support the independent news source. And that's why TYT, and we talked about TYT, right? One thing I noticed about TYT is that they're doing more black, they're doing more black centered news stories and news reports and things of that nature. They've recognized the not only who's the base of the Democrat Party, but the changing shift in America. Yeah. Let's answer this question here before we wrap up. Yeah. How do you know they discriminated against you because of your hair?
I don't know.
How did you know it was that? I heard it happening to men.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that at that point of time, I went on, man, it was months of interviews. And I decided to cut my hair, and that when I finally got a job. That's all. That's all the information I can really go by.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't happening, there wouldn't be a need for the Crown Act
Yeah,
or
yeah.
them to keep pushing the Crown Act, right?
Right, right.
It's something me and my wife talk about in the military. The military don't take into a do not and did not take into account the amount of money African American women and women with curly hair in general have to
Mhm.
spend in order to fit into and maintain military standards. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You
right.
know, the military. The military kind of ease a lot of those standards, allowing women to wear locks, allowing women to wear ponytails. You know what I'm saying? Because the issue a
Mhm.
lot of African American women have to deal with is, what's that called? Alopecia,
Oh
where
yeah,
hair falling out and stuff like that
hmm
from putting their hair in a bun in order, or a ponytail, or a bun in order to meet military standards. They can still do a better job just by saying, just wear your natural hair, instead of having all these stupid regs for it. But yeah, but anyway, Tim Scott, America's racist because we have to pass Crown Acts in order to protect African American women and men for their natural hair.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. So
That part.
yeah, man. Uh, but yeah, man. Final comment though, bro.
Man, my final comment is, man, take your information and ebb and flows. Um, do research on the research. Don't don't take something uh as a literal fact without double checking it. And be careful of the information that you consume.
Yeah, and I'm a piggyback as we say in the when I used to be in the military. But yeah, man, I'm gonna say I generally check three news sources, man. Three. And one of those news sources is a news source that I disagree with. You know what I mean? To
hmm
find
hmm
information and make sure that I have the correct information. You know what I'm saying? So I implore people to do the same. You know what I mean? And remember, .gov, edu, .org are all good sites, and of course you can use Google Scholar to look up peer-reviewed articles. They have to be peer-reviewed articles because that means other people within that field looked at the article and agreed with what was in that article. So and as far as news, when it comes to Black people, Black culture, Black experience, support Black news channels, support people out here who are trying to present information, trying to get you to trying people who have the community in their best interests. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we all have to have the community in our best interest. So go out here, man, and support that kind of news, support that kind of information. And, I know people like to, watch stuff that talks about celebrities and things of that nature. I wish people just stop watching that altogether, man. We give celebrities too much, with celebrities are, it's out of control at this point.
Yeah.
Stop consuming. It's all about consuming and algorithms. If you search how you search within your Instagram, within your Facebook, your Snapchat, your Twitter account, or any other social media app, or website, you are going to continuously being shown those things. So it's important how you put that information in there, and just put the information that you want in there. If there's something specifically that you want, put it in quotes, or put it eat plus ice cream, things that nature. You know what I'm saying?
I, I do got to say this before you close, since you made that point.
Yeah.
Um, so uh, Google, Facebook, and the CEO of Twitter and the CEO of YouTube,
Mm.
they all was in front of Congress. Um, you guys should really watch it because it's based off of what we're talking about. about misinformation and how they push um, right wing media to the front of the any news or information. So this is why we're having this conversation, to be careful of what you consume.
Yeah. Speaking of the right wing, don't believe them when they say that the news is liberal, because most of the top
Mhm.
news shows out there are all right wing. Top 10 are right wing.
Mhm.
So don't believe that. Don't believe that stuff when they out. All right. All right, man. So yeah, man. So as always, man, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. And catch us on the next topic. We'll be talking about Black Lives Matter. We'll be going into the turmoil kind of going on with Black Lives Matter and the issues that they're having over there when they're talking about dealing with families who feel that Black Lives Matter need to contribute more. We'll be talking about whether, about them being a movement and an organization. We'll delve into the music, culturally, how the music hasn't or doesn't seem like it caught up with the movement as in years and decades past. So we'll get into all that in Black Lives Matter. Look for that in the Facebook group, and it'll be on the YouTubes. All right. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Everybody that's going to tune in, appreciate you. You guys have a great weekend and have a great week if we don't see you. Peace.
All right, be good.